The FBI files say the escapees were aiming for Angel Island, but the Mythbusters will test their own theory, that they were smart enough to use the outgoing tide to carry them to the Marin Headlands. Of course, there were 3 in the real escape attempt, so young Will Abbott has been drafted from the workshop to be their partner in crime.
It's gonna be a whole other world, not to mention the shock of the cold, cold water.
Just remember, kid, if it doesn't kill you, it just makes a great story later on.
Oh, hell yeah.
Will's about Frank Morris's weight. He'll wear a buoyant wetsuit so he can immediately help the guys if things go wrong.
Just so that we can communicate for emergency situations, this means I need help. This is not hello.
Okay.
This means I'm okay, everything's all right. All right?
The guys will also wear strobe locator lights.
Well, we'll get you a battery on that just as soon as we can.
Would be a good idea.
On the northwest edge of Alcatraz, the tide is rushing out at more than 3 knots. The water just over 60 degrees. The wind about 5 knots. Those conditions are very similar to what faced Morris and the Anglins. And remember, they are presumed to have drowned.
Dead or alive, I imagine that the 3 escapees would get a kick out of the fact that we are getting into a boat and retracing their steps for an entertainment show.
I can only imagine what the convicts were saying when this was occurring. I guess nobody will ever know. But I'm pretty sure they weren't talking about how nice the view was.
They're in position just off the spot where the escapees took their chances. Like them, the Mythbusters have no idea if their raincoat raft will float.
You and me, 4 and a half with Will in the middle. That puts the lightest weight at the highest.
Okay, we're in the
weakness.
same.
It's cold, it's dark, and it's time to go. Paramedics and a trained lifeguard are standing by.
Got it? Got it. Go, Jamie. It's all you, buddy.
Oh, Jamie, you're the man, baby.
The raft's passed its first test. It's holding Jamie's weight.
Here I go, Jamie. Here I come. Oh yeah, we're taking on water. Okay.
Okay, I'll take that. I got it.
I got 1 paddle.
Okay, we're off.
3. Here we are.
We're escaping!
Somewhere around here, no doubt, Morris and the Anglins celebrated too. They'd escaped Alcatraz. But what lay ahead?
If that raft sank, they were swimming. If they were swimming, they would be in trouble relatively quickly. It was 9 or 10 hours before they were found to be missing. If you're still in the water that long, you're not going to make it.
I have no idea where we are.
Adam, Jamie, and Will are paddling across the tide. If they've miscalculated, the current will sweep them under the Golden Gate Bridge and out to sea.
I can't see Alcatraz because there's some damn big boat in the view. Our legs are falling asleep.
The raft is getting weaker. Every 10 minutes they have to add more air. And the tidal rip is getting rougher. Did the same waves sink the escapees? No signs of them were ever found on land. But the water gave up clues.
The most important thing was a packet of photographs. Also, there were 9 slips of paper with names and addresses of people they were going to contact. Now, unless you're in a life or death situation, you're not going to let go of that bag.
Hey Adam, we can see Alcatraz straight behind us right now. Wow! We've come quite a ways, haven't we?
We have.
After about 40 minutes, they're closing in on the bridge and the shore. If the real escapees made it this far, their spirits would be starting to lift by now too.
This is so cool!
It seemed impossible, but the Mythbusters are almost there. Paddling a raincoat raft more than 3 miles across a rushing tide, making landfall just east of the Golden Gate Bridge.
We made it!
If the escapees came ashore here, they'd stepped lightly ever since. There were no stolen cars, no phone calls home. Frank Morris and the Anglin brothers disappeared without trace. In doing so, they created a great myth.
There were sightings in New Orleans and Washington, D.C., and I personally had a guy tell me that the Anglin brothers were down in Florida playing golf, and they were not the type of guys that would be allowed on a golf course.
As for the Mythbusters, their running days are over.
Beautiful, man.
Good job, guys.
Yeah, good job. Good job, Dan.
Given a reasonable amount of intelligence, I think it's entirely possible that they made it. Again, I think the most damning evidence that they didn't is the fact that no one's heard from them since.
Unless they find any specific evidence that these guys, lived happily ever after or something after they got ashore, we won't know whether it was true or not. But we know that it could have been done, which is cool.
Here's something to ponder, though. The tide carried an oar to Angel Island. That tide came directly from the Marin headlands. How did the oar get there, if not with the escapees? The mystery remains.
I'm king